the big thing might be over, but our adventure is far from it. After spending 3 days exploring everything the big theme had to offer with the Subi crew, we now had to return home back to Canada. This time, we were taking the long way through 3 states and 2 countries. We'd make our way through Montana, Idaho, and Washington, seeing what the Pacific Northwest really looks like as we spent 2 days on the road exploring.
And we are officially leaving the big thing from Montana. As you guys saw in the last video, it was an absolutely epic time. We met some great people, did some really fun trails, and well, just had an awesome time at the event overall. But now it's time to, well, make it back to Canada. We're doing it a little bit different. We're not gonna be going just directly north of us. We're gonna be taking a very, very long way back. We're actually be going into BC and, well, into the Shuswap region and then back home. So we've got quite the adventure planned out for you guys. We're gonna be crossing 3 states today. Well, not all the way across, but we're gonna be going from Montana here into Idaho and then into Washington and then up into Canada, into BC. So it's gonna be absolutely epic. I don't have a camp spot. I don't really have a plan. I have a general map on my GPS here, and I have Gaia, so I can go ahead and we'll pick a map or pick a camp spot when we get into the Washington area. I want to camp near the Canadian border, but I don't want to cross the Canadian border today. So we're going to figure it out as we go, a true overlanding experience. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what we find in these states. As you guys know, if you've been around the channel, we haven't done a lot of exploration there. We've done a little bit in Montana. This is even new to us. So it's going to be an epic journey overall. So let's go ahead and see what we can find on our 12.5-hour drive. Heading west on the freeway, we're kind of in the familiar space, these kind of rolling prairies that we went through for like 4 hours to get down here. But in the distance, I do see kind of the foothills peaking and then farther, even the Rocky Mountains. That's what I'm looking forward to. So we're gonna continue pushing through Montana here till eventually we get into a little bit of mountains, and then we'll slow down, check out some sites and see what we can see. We've got 300 kilometers on the I-90, which right now is 80 miles an hour, which is 130 for my Canadian audience, which is way faster than I usually drive the Forester. So we're not doing the speed limit. We're a little bit slower because we're just gonna take our time and not push the Forester. Especially on these rolling hills, I don't know if it would be very happy at doing that anyways. We'll enjoy the prairies and kind of watch this landscape change in front of us. And just like that, we're climbing through a pass. We're almost at 2,000 meters of elevation, which if you watch some of my trips, when we go through the mountains, we get up there on alpine roads, but this is just a casual mountain pass. We started at 15,000 or 1,500, so 500 meters of elevation for a mountain pass isn't huge, but it takes us into this like really cool winding road, which is, I believe, in a national park. I see a national park sign there. So I have a feeling we're gonna be hitting a lot of national parks today. I was kind of tempted to stop. There's like a lake up in the mountains here, but we have a lot of kilometers to do. So I've marked it on my maps, and well, maybe sometime we'll check it out. But there's some really cool rock formations here. It's like all kind of smooth granite, I think, which the climber in me goes, ooh, that'd be fun to climb. I bet you there's some cool climbing routes here. But it looks like we are just about at the summit here. There might be a ski resort or something, I don't know. I got my maps on my tablet here, so as I'm going along, I'm dropping pins and kind of checking out what's available. But really crazy, we're just flat prairies for 1 second, and then we're in the mountain pass the next second.
But just as quick as the pass came, it went, and we headed back down the other side towards the closest city.
we're in Butte. I thought we might as well get some gas here because I'm not sure where the gas stations are along the route. But the biggest thing is actually, I just wanted to drive through here because it is a historical town. So we did a little bit of driving through the main street. It was actually pretty cool to check out. Definitely a historical town. So it was cool to see. And now we're continuing back on the freeway for quite a bit.
Leaving Butte, we continued northwest through the Montana prairies, driving through what seemed like endless fields. Until eventually, once again, the foothills and then the Rocky Mountains rose in front of us.
And after a few mountain passes and a couple of towns, we are still in Montana. You don't realize how big Montana is until you try to go from, like, I think we're kind of central Montana to the next state. We've been, I think we've done like 200 or 150 miles or something like that. And we've been through, Montana likes to switch, it seems, between like slightly rocky foothills to prairies and back and forth. It's kind of got like the entrance or the kind of area around Shuswap, when you're coming from Revelstoke, that little area there it reminds me of. Of course, when you're in Montana, you always got to get a huckleberry milkshake. It's something that you typically only see in Montana or like very southern BC, and it's only for a few months of the year. So if you do, highly recommend it.
We continued on the freeway, winding through the Montana Rocky Mountains. Well, until we turned off of the highway onto a little side road that looked like it took us down to the riverside.
And well, the highway is just up there, and I pulled off to this small little road here, and I think it used to be an old highway, and then there's a little trail that came down to, well, right here, where we can go ahead, make some lunch, and well, honestly, enjoy this view. I never really get super hungry when I'm driving because we're just sitting there, so I was gonna cook something, but I don't really feel like cooking something till probably dinner, so we're gonna go ahead, just have a quick bite, a quick snack, and then, well, continue making our way to Idaho and then Washington.
And after enjoying a secluded lunch down by the river, we made our way back up to the highway. Where we climbed up another pass and hit our first set of construction. And one other thing.
And check that out. We have officially made it to Idaho. We're still got quite the ways to go, and it's 3:30, but the scenery is actually finally changing, and well, we're getting some pretty epic views out here. Starting to remind me a lot of BC as we come over this pass, and now we're gonna make our way down the hill into Idaho and eventually into Washington. That said, maybe I'll have to do some exploring because that looks like some areas that need to be explored.
Crossing state lines, we descended down from the pass, making our way through small town after small town, and eventually one final pass before we made our way, hopefully, to the lake.
And it wouldn't be a road trip without some traffic. We've got relatively lucky. We hit a fair amount of construction, but haven't hit a lot of traffic. And well, as we're coming into, what is this place called? It's got an interesting name. In Idaho, it's like a larger city. it then connects to Spokane. So it looks like it's city for a little while, and I wanted to clear this before dinner, and then we could go explore the roads and have some dinner. And then I don't know, I could either camp after dinner, or I can go a little bit farther, like another hour, because driving in the evening is always kind of nice, and get farther into Washington to camp. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, but we'll have to see once we get through this traffic, because there's always some traffic. I knew I should have turned onto one of the side roads when Google first told me, but there isn't really any side roads. I'm not super familiar with this area, so it's hard for me to know, oh, if I turn over there, I can kind of go and bypass it. So I guess we'll be sitting here for a little bit while we wait for it to get through, and then we can see if we can't sneak around somewhere.
And after a good 15 minutes of waiting in traffic, it started to move again, where we could continue making our way towards the lake and onto the mountainside.
And I just turned off of one of the main roads onto an asphalt side road, which eventually led me down a gravel side road here. And there's a lake right there. And I thought we might as well make dinner now, because there's going to be rush hour going through Spokane and stuff. So we might as well eat now. And then when the traffic settles a little bit, then we can go ahead and take the main road, the highway, through Spokane and through the other town here. And then we'll be in Washington, and we can get a couple more hours closer to the border before we go find camp for the night. And with dinner all done, we're going to go ahead, pack up the kitchen, say goodbye to this really nice view and honestly perfect temperature, and go ahead, find some asphalt, and continue our way towards Washington. And like I said, Washington State wasn't far away. We just crossed into Washington. There was no fun signs because we're between Spokane, I believe, and the town beside it. I think it's got a French name or something. I can never remember it. But we just passed through the sign, and Google gave me the little welcome to Washington. And then I noticed that they had a little sign on the side of the road. So we're officially in our third state as of today. So we've definitely been on a little bit of an adventure for sure. Idaho was pretty small. We kind of went through like the northern part, but it was still cool to see, and I would love to explore it more. It looks like there's lots of like national forests that we could explore and go camp in. But talking about camping, we still have a little bit. We're still 7 hours away from where we want to be in Canada, and it is 7 p.m. So obviously we're going to lose light here in just over an hour. So I do want to be setting up camp or getting ready for finding a camp around that time. So the goal is to be out of all this city, which reminds me a lot of Vancouver for sure. Like the Vancouver Lower Mainland area. Very similar. But then we will go ahead, try to find somewhere to camp on just a loggy road or something like that, and then call it for tonight, and then hopefully it's no more than like it should be under 7 hours, because we're at under 7 hours now, but it'll be hopefully under the 5.5 hour mark. Let's say that's my goal. So we'll continue pushing a little bit more until we get into an area we can start finding a campsite.
But little did I know that was going to be a while.
The sun sets in 14 minutes and we're still on the road. We've run into a little bit of a problem. All the land around here is private. This is starting to feel like Alberta all over again, trying to find camping in Alberta. It's nothing like BC where there's logging roads and access roads. There is just too much population in this area, which I kind of should have expected because we left Spokane like probably an hour and a bit ago. So those big populated cities are obviously going to have more closures like Vancouver where people can't go. The only issue is, as I said, the sun sets in 14 minutes and I have no idea where we're camping yet. I was hoping we'd be able to find a logging road or an access road, and I've looked for like 3 or 4 on my maps and they're not even showing up, and the ones that I do find, they're gated because they're on private land. So we're gonna keep on going. I don't know if this is gonna turn into a night run or if we're gonna find a spot here soon, but we're going through another town, Coilovers, and again, maybe I can go back past that. I'm gonna take a stop here and actually take a look at my maps in a little more depth and see if I can't find anything. But yeah, we've got 14 minutes till sunset. It is kind of nice. I don't mind driving in the dark or at sunset because it's always a beautiful drive, but I would like to camp sometime tonight. So we got a little more exploring to do yet. Actually, before we go ahead and check out some trails, we're gonna get some gas because we're only about 75 kilometers, not even, probably 50 kilometers to the border. So I don't think there'll be many gas stops. And well, we're on the dirt road. It looks like we're all private land here, but as we go up in here, it's a forest management area, and I think we can find a place to camp. I know on some of the listings, people said there's places to camp on the other side, but that would require us to go back around the lake, kind of like where we turned right. It wants us to go back down south and then back into the mountains, which I don't really want to do. Adds another half an hour, but because it's getting dark, we're gonna go ahead, pop off just these ones. We don't need the floodlights. We'll just put on these. They're good Euro beams, so they'll give us more light as we head up into the mountains of Washington and find a spot to camp, and we'll spend the night. And well, we found a spot just up here a little bit. It's kind of in the valley. It's a clearing where they've done their logging, obviously, but we can actually see the town in the distance there and a little bit of the lake. It's not super level, but not to worry. We can grab the traction boards off the top and we'll just put it on this side, drive it up. And then since we've already ate, we can just go ahead, jump right in bed, and we'll head to sleep pretty soon so that we can get up and we'll make the 26-kilometer journey to the border. We can actually see it from here probably. And thankfully our tent is really easy to set up. Takes about 3 minutes and we can be ready to sleep, and it's probably been like 10 minutes. So we are here in the tent. Hopefully there's no wind, because you'll see in the morning we got a really good view, but really good views come at a cost of you have a lot of exposure. I did check the wind because I could have tucked in the trees up there, but I thought it'd be better, obviously, to give you guys a better view, as well as just be a little farther down the mountain, then making it easier to go ahead and hit the border here tomorrow morning. I do need to check what the hours are, because that border actually does have
It's not one of the 24-hour ones, so we do want to hit it when it's open. I want to say it's probably like 6 or 7 a.m., but we won't be there by then. But we'll be there hopefully sooner than later, because what we still got to do is do another 4 hours into British Columbia, and I'll show you where we eventually end up on the Shuswap Lake. If you've been watching the channel, you're probably familiar with that area. If you're not, well, there's an amazing spot. We might even do a video out there later on, but we'll have to see. Other than that, the tent is pretty just bare bones. We got our sleeping bag and our pillow in here, and we're pretty much ready to go to sleep, and we will see you guys in the morning. And good morning from our spot here in Washington. It is actually really nice. We didn't really get to explore it when we were pulling up at like 9:30 p.m. But we are in this like obviously logged out area, but we got a lot of like nice little meadows, some rock formations over there. It's a really nice spot. I did notice some people driving by this morning. They're probably wondering what a Canadian car is doing here, but we are so close to the border that it kind of makes sense. That said, we're not doing that border crossing. We're actually kind of continuing along the mountain range here and continuing to head a little bit more west before we go hit the borders there, because that's going to give us a little bit easier of a time getting to where we want to go at the end of the day. So what we're going to do is we're going to take down camp and then hit the trail eventually back to the road. And after that short drive down the gravel, we are back on the asphalt heading north. So we're getting pretty close to Canada. I think it's under 20 miles. But as I said, in 12 miles, we'll actually be turning west more. We're not going to be doing the border crossing here. I can't remember what it's called. And at the start of the video, I said I was going to do Nighthawk, but Nighthawk is too far west. So we're going to do one in the middle called Midway. It's kind of west of Grand Forks, which is actually really cool, because if you remember the video where I went ahead and drove the south route, Calgary to Vancouver, or Vancouver to Calgary, I can't remember which way I went, I said it would be really cool to see what's on the other side of those hills, because the hills are so close. Well, we are officially on the other side of those hills, and it's really cool to see what they are. I really like this area. It reminds me, as I said, a little bit of like BC, central BC, but it's got the spruce more like Montana, which is interesting to see. And I'd love to explore more of the logging roads, because I did find some when I was looking at the map that we just haven't explored yet. So I would love to do that. Now these are the roads that I like. We're off the like side highway onto the side highway. It is like got the lines that are all washed out, and honestly I think we'll be doing a lot of these roads for the rest of the journey. We might hit a little bit of the highway in Canada, but then we're going to hit a highway I've never hit called Highway 33 that winds through the mountains. And looking at my map here, this one winds through the mountains. So while I might not have the STI to have a ton of fun on these roads, the Forester, just because of the Subaru, a little bit lower center of gravity, still a ton of fun going through these back roads, exploring, well, like all that has to offer out here, seeing what it really looks like, and enjoying the drive. And then it'll be the border here soon. Okay, I just had to stop here. Check this place out. It's like the summit of the pass. I believe we're going down after this, but we've got this amazing view. You can tell a fire swept through here years ago, but you can just see way down into the valley
Everything's going through there. And look at this. We even have trails. So I'm definitely going to mark this off because we definitely have to come explore it. I've seen so many trails in this area on my maps that there's just like unlimited possibilities, so many places. But as I said, I just had to show you guys this summit here. It's a recreational like trail area, so there's so much to explore. Leaving the peak, we were rewarded with some amazing views. Now down into the valley, it dried out once again as we made our way towards the Canadian border. Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
So what's flat about your four?
It's the boxer engine. So a Subaru uses a boxer engine.
I was like, your tires don't look flat.
People often say that, but yeah, it's the boxer engine.
Bolts.
No.
Where's home for you?
Calgary.
How long were you out?
3 days.
Where did you go?
Montana, camping and overlanding an event. And we're back in Canada. That was officially the smallest border crossing I've ever been through. It was super cool. It was literally just like one building. They just walk out, talk to you, take your passport, scan you back in, and give you your passport back. And they literally take your passport into the building. It's something that I've never seen. I always love exploring these smaller places because this one was like in a little town called Midway. I've heard of Midway, but I've never actually drove through here. So it's super cool to see. And it was cool to check off another border crossing. I do want to try to hit like all of them in BC to Alberta so that I can say I've done all the border crossings between US and Canada. But yeah, we're officially in Canada and continuing to make our journey north. We have about 17 kilometers now on this road, this main highway, before we hit 33, which, as I said, looks really windy. It looks like another enjoyable road like we just had in Washington. But I know Highway 3 that we're currently on isn't the most interesting, but it does take us through some new and interesting terrain, so you can't complain about that. And we are on Highway 33, and one of the cool things I just saw was it said slow vehicle pullouts must pull over if you delay more than 5 vehicles. I've never seen that in my life on all the roads here in British Columbia, so I think that might be a good indication that this is going to be quite the fun road, but we'll just have to see. And you can definitely tell we're in BC. We got these dense forests, the high peaks, and well, the roads that wind through the mountain here, absolutely amazing. They kind of are on the ridge here, and then it's just down into the valley. Obviously, as I said, one of my favorite places to explore. And I think even after all we've explored, this still might be one of my favorite places. Just there are so many logging roads as we come down this road here. I was dropping pins like crazy, and the road itself was a ton of fun. We are getting close to Kelowna, where we'll actually fill up for the 6th time on this trip, and then we'll get closer to exactly where we want to be today. But we still have a little bit of fun driving on 33 before we fill up for the last time. But unfortunately, the traffic had other plans, slowing us down as we made our way into town and grabbed some fuel. wind off of the highways again. We're on just a little road here, making our way to Highway 1. So this will be our last section of fun road. I just seen a sign that said caution, narrow winding road for the next 40 kilometers. So we will go ahead and make our way through the British Columbia backroads here. I'm not sure if it turns to gravel or if it's just a paved road that winds all the time. And I'm glad I finally got to drive that road. It was a lot of fun ripping through the backcountry of British Columbia. That said, we are officially down that valley on Highway 1. That means that our journey is finally over. But I did want to give you guys my thoughts of, well, the 3 states we went through, because we've done almost 2,000 kilometers in the last 2 days and have explored some amazing places. And obviously, I thought I'd give you guys my thoughts and whether if you guys should be expecting more videos in those places. So Montana. I've done more Montana than anything else because you've seen our Montana beach camping videos and so forth. Honestly, other than that, I think I've really found what I wanted to find in Montana. There wasn't a ton of other places to explore. There are some cool roads through the rolling hills and obviously our places in Koocanusa, but it was very long and it just felt like it dragged on and on and on. Even when we're in the kind of the mountainous areas there wasn't a ton to explore. That said, once we reached Idaho, there was a ton to explore. Even just that little place we had lunch, I was honestly impressed that we were so close to a major city and could find a little place to pull off on the logging road. So Idaho is on my list. I want to go ahead and check out Idaho. So let me know if you're familiar with Idaho, what areas I should be checking out. Is there any logging roads or places like beautiful waterfalls or rivers that I should be exploring? And then I can go ahead, get on my maps and see what we can find. And then finally, Washington. I think Washington takes the cake here. As we were getting into and closer to the US, going through that mountain pass and then ultimately going through even the forested sections with all the certain trails and all of the other stuff, such as the winding roads through the like kind of dry spruce. There was just so much to explore. And I actually was dropping some pins because I was seeing wreck sites and campsites that were on my map that I would love to explore because they're in really nice places. So honestly, Washington is 100% on my list. I would love to explore. So again, let me know if that's something you guys would want to see. But as I said, we'll be jumping onto Highway 1 there. That road we know so well, so we won't be doing a video on that. If you are wanting to see what we can do on Highway 1 here, check out my Vancouver to Calgary videos or my construction videos and where we were driving on the highway during construction, or any of those. We're super familiar with Highway 1, but I'm glad we got to do something a little bit different and we'll explore those 3 states in 2 days. It was definitely a push and a lot of driving, but the Forester did it really, really well. And obviously there's a few things I want to upgrade, but the build is really starting to come together. With that being said, we're going to wrap up today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed, well, the last couple of days video and our big thing video before this. It's been an epic 4 or 5 days, and I hope it really showcased in those videos. As per usual, let me know in the comments what you thought of this video, if you want to see something else, as well as check out Flat for Off-Road to get your Subaru ready for adventures like this, as well as the channel memberships for exclusive perks and, well, behind the scenes content. And, well, I'll be seeing you guys on the next adventure.